What's going on, YouTube? JT Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my MonsterVerse and Kong comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Escape from Skull Island, issue number 4. This is the final part of the Escape from Skull Island comic book. I don't know if they're going to be doing any more. I kind of hope they do, because there are some things left unanswered, and the way it ends sets up kind of a sort of cliffhanger ending. Like, it kind of wraps some things up. Like, we get the conclusion to the stuff with Yuggoth, and we get a big epic battle. We get to see Kong wield this mythical sword, which there's a lot of ambiguity about where it comes from and how it's powered up and such, but it is cool to see Kong wield this mythical sword. And you know, there's, like I said, there's still a lot of questions kind of left unanswered, and I hope they continue it. Unlike the last time when I did the Return to Skull Island, it said continuing to escape from Skull Island. This one just said the end, but it was kind of left in a, oh, maybe they're not going to make it sort of way. I don't exactly know. It didn't feel like as fully satisfying as I would have wanted to, because I don't know if they're going to be making any more stuff. I hope they do. I want to see more of this series, since it doesn't seem we're ever going to get a season 2 of the Netflix show, and this is the continuation of that. So we'll see what kind of happens here, but there is some good stuff in here, but it does leave you kind of wanting a little bit more by the end of it. If this is the true conclusion to this thing, it just doesn't fully feel like one. Like, it doesn't feel like everything's fully wrapped up per se. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what happens in this issue. So this one is written by Simon Furman and art by Christopher Jones, and basically we had this Dr. Joe character who calls Kong Ben, and we have, you know, Mike and Charlie and all that kind of in the path of Yuggoth. Annie wanted vengeance against it for supposedly killing Irene, but then they were reunited, ended up back on her island. But they have all these different, like, bits of weaponry, and we have Druid and his plans. We got Yuggoth doing his thing. Yuggoth was trying to control these different titans and creatures and all that to fight off against Kong. And I do like the image of Kong here. Look at that, with the lightning in the background, him kind of standing atop this mountain, but he's holding onto this sword because he knows that shit's about to get real. So Annie and Irene are there. Irene is kind of thinking about staying behind. The whole Druid thing is kind of wrapped up. The humans kind of take them down and kind of apprehend them. But then we get to the big epic battle where Yuggoth's army faces off against Kong and the sword. And the image of Kong holding his sword, I don't know, like, I like the axe in that too, but Kong holding a flaming sword is kind of a little bit cooler, if I'm going to be honest. But the axe was clearly made by his ancestors. This thing, I don't know what powers it up, but it definitely seems really ancient. And you can also see some of Yuggoth's influence in the sword, because there's a point where Kong gets ready to confront him, or him, her, whatever this Yuggoth like creature is, and he's kind of like stopped in a bit of a standstill. So it seems like that was kind of its plan from the get-go, but it's like, well, what's really going on here? But yeah, Yuggoth's an impressive thing. Kong's facing off against some like skull crawlers. You got those like long leg creatures. Are those the wart dogs? And maybe a few other things that I'm not sure of off the top of my head. There's a lot of various creatures in the MonsterVerse right now, so it's kind of hard to keep track of everything anymore. It used to be simple, but you know, some of the other things I might need some I wish they would list the names. Maybe it's in the credits somewhere. But it looks like also some war bats too. So that's all pretty cool stuff. And, you know, seeing the action bits in here, seeing Kong just kind of like stab these things with the sword and all that is pretty awesome. And then Dog kind of gets there, and the humans kind of have to help him out, because he is just in this big battle by himself. And I mean, look at the shit that Kong has to face off against. And, you know, he gets some assistance here and there. He gets stabbed a few times, and he manages to use the sword to kind of take down these various members of like this whole like monster army that's up against him. And it's really cool. Like, this is pretty awesome stuff and some of my favorite stuff in the series. But there comes a point where he gets ready to kind of like swing and fight against Yuggoth, but the sword, which was kind of mixed in that elemental stuff, starts to latch onto Kong and kind of take a bit of control over him. Jeez, somebody's like flooring their motorcycle out there as I'm recording this thing. But yeah, it seems to kind of take control of Kong in a way, but you know, you have somebody there to kind of break him out of his little trance right there, because Yuggoth's plan was like, okay, I got control of the sword, but why wouldn't I use it to like beforehand when Kong's fighting these other things? Or maybe it's its plan to kind of weaken him and then use it to kind of control him, because like, why kill Kong if you can use him in that regards? But yeah, Kong gets put in a standstill, but you know, through the help of everyone else, he kind of breaks free of his charm, and we get this really epic shot of Kong just like wielding this magic sword and just kind of like cutting this thing down to pieces, and ultimately kind of defeating it. But he kind of sets the sword down, like, maybe I shouldn't use that thing again. Everyone else kind of says their goodbye. Charlie and all that. Dr. Joe decides to stay. Irene decides to stay with Annie because that's where she belongs. Charlie tells Annie that he loves her, and then she's like, then I love you too. I guess that'll have to do. They hug, but they don't kiss or anything like that. They seem to kind of go on their merry ways. Kong's like, okay. Charles like, okay, we're good. We're done with the Skull Island thing. I'm kind of sad because I'll miss, you know, like Annie, Kong, and like Haya and all that kind of became like my family. But as they're kind of leaving, one of those little creatures, which I think was at the very beginning of like the Skull Island anime or was something else, pops up, and it seems that it has nefarious plans for them. I don't exactly know which creature this is. We just see a little tentacle thing. Could be really anything because they already destroyed the Kraken, so it has to be something else. But again, it just says the end, but it seems like their journey on Skull Island isn't quite as over as they think, given the Titan that's there to seemingly attack their boat. So yes, that's where it goes. That's the end of Escape from Skull Island issue number 4. I did like the issue overall, but if this really is the end, it doesn't feel like a fully satisfying ending to me, per se, because we kind of end on that cliffhanger. It felt like some aspects, like, okay, I would have liked a little bit more of a conclusion with some of the characters and all that other stuff. It doesn't fully feel like the end, because when you have that little, like, Titan showing up at the end right there, and, you know, she's kind of left behind, all that potential, like, you know, what's really going on between the two of them. Like, you have like Charlie and Annie and that sort of relationship. It doesn't feel like it reached like a full like conclusion in that too. So I don't exactly know. It doesn't feel like we're fully done with this thing. And then you had the mystery of that sword. Where did it come from? And you have like Irene staying behind, this Dr. Joe character who calls Kong. It just feels like there's so much more you could kind of explore with this storyline that I don't think 4 issues does it like justice. I mean, this is like technically 8 issues. I think was it 4 with the Return to Skull Island and then Escape from Skull Island, but it doesn't feel like we're really there. And because unlike last time when Return to Skull Island was ending and we was like, okay, we're going to be continuing to Escape from Skull Island, this one doesn't have that. So it leaves me wondering if we're actually going to get some sort of continuation of this thing, or maybe it'll tie into the Monarch stuff. There is a reference to Monarch in a way. One of the characters says the name Monarch, so okay, there's a little Easter egg there in that regard, and it's cool to see these other Titans and all that. But I want to know more. Like, I want to see what happens next. Like, you know, there's still a lot of mystery and ambiguity with it, and I guess hopefully we'll get some sort of continuation in comic book form. I mean, maybe comic book form is the way to go, but I don't exactly know, because next up in terms of MonsterVerse stuff, we have Godzilla Kong Supernova. And we also have, there's like some Monarch comic books, which I will be talking about when that does inevitably release. It's kind of like some of the missing pieces of the storyline. So that's going to be coming out sometime this year. And then there's a Supernova, like, comic book tie-in as well. But in terms of that, like, that's pretty much it in terms of the MonsterVerse stuff for this year. I mean, we'll start to get some more stuff, like, closer to the end of the year as we get to Supernova and all that too. But I do hope we continue this thing. I did like the issue overall, but, like, as a full conclusion to this whole entire, like, Skull Island anime sort of series, it doesn't feel fully satisfying because of the way it ends, right? It just leaves you like, okay, are we going to continue this? Like, what's going on here? Like, I feel like Woody at the end of, like, Woody's Roundup, or in Toy Story 2, where he's like, come on, let's see the next episode. And then it's like, oh, it's canceled or something. Is that it? Are we not going to do anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see a little bit more and really feel a true ending with it, because ending it on that note doesn't feel like a true ending, if that makes sense. So, but again, my criticisms could be rectified if we do get a continuation of it. So right now it's just kind of that unknown sort of feeling. It doesn't feel as fully satisfying as it could be given where it ends, because I'm like, oh, there's all these kind of unanswered questions and all that, and I don't feel like we really, like, we kind of rushed some of the epilogue portion of it. The epic battle is really cool. The conclusion of the Yuggoth stuff is awesome, but the other stuff with the human elements, I mean, yeah, there's moments that work, but then it's like, I need a little bit more, if that makes sense. Doesn't feel like a true kind of ending, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I still enjoyed it overall, but, you know, it kind of leaves you wanting a little bit more by the end of it. So with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for the Skull Island comic book tie-in stuff. I've been covering this stuff for like a year or two now at this point. I got some other comic book videos I got to get out soon, but I'm not going to have time. I'm going to be traveling tomorrow, so this is the only one for today. Maybe I'll get those DC ones uploaded and then just kind of have them like ready to go for when I get back from my little trip or whatever. But yeah, so what did you think of this issue? What did you think of like this whole like Escape from Skull Island series in general? Have you been enjoying the MonsterVerse comic books? Is there some like things that leave you kind of wanting more? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more content. And yeah, I'll be back again with more MonsterVerse stuff at some point soon. I finally did post my Monarch Season 2 Episode 10 video like yesterday after just kind of having it sit on my computer. I still need to rewatch Season 2, and then I'm going to do kind of a ranking, and then I'm going to take all those videos and kind of compile them into like a one big gigantic season 2 review, and then I'll probably add a little intro and a little like final like thoughts on it overall, as a, you know, just a kind of big compilation video of the stories. I did the same thing for Monarch season 1, but this one I kind of like add a little bit more to it compared to when I did the season 1 sort of video. So, but yeah, so go check all that stuff out. Let me know what you think. Where do you want to see the story go from here? Did you feel like this was a satisfying issue to kind of conclude the story? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.